There's something that is happening today, and I still feel it right now, but it's not something that I can't win because I certainly have gone through a phase where I am a lot deeper than this. Because the feeling that I have right now is just the feeling of like I'm caged. I'm caged by my own state. I'm caged by my own presence, and I'm just like I don't believe that I can get out from this feeling. Now I know enough. I'm grown enough to know that this is one of the expression of feeling fear, and that fear is what helps me to know this is not the state that I want to continually play. But then knowing that doesn't help me get out because knowing and getting things done, walking the journey is such a different state. And if you are just feeling it, then your journey might be slower than mine. But what I know about this is that sometimes when my body is unhealthy, sometimes when I'm near my period, sometimes when I'm feeling overwhelmed by certain things in my life, sometimes when something just pressured me to a place, to my corner, and I can't have the freedom to explore anywhere else. This is the feeling that I need to win. The feeling of cage. I'm caged in my own shit, and I know what to do with it. So because I have gone so deep into this journey, I already know the why. Whenever I'm having this, I will have this. Whenever I'm having this, I will have this. And then I have another way to counter attack whatever situation that I'm having that eventually leading me to no longer feeling like I am still in that state. And in this case, feeling cage is something that I already overcome in such a degree that even if I'm feeling it, I don't really trust this because my true core of identity is that I'm a powerful person. I know what I can do. I know how to get the resource that I need to get out from the situation I'm in. Like that is the style that I always go to. And whenever I'm in this state, I'm not that. So I know really deeply that this is not my natural state. I have notes on the side of my screen, so I'm going to read it once in a while. I'm just looking at it right now. But either way, even if I know that I can overcome this, sometimes like the feeling of relief, the feeling of I'm done, it's the end, it's not coming. Sometimes it's just that. And when I'm in my period, it's a lot longer. So it takes days to actually get myself in a balance because the major factors of my situation is my hormones. And if I want to lift up my emotional state, I need to eat something that can help me do that. But if I don't have the food, if I can't buy the food, then I need to stay. I will stay in the state for quite a while, and the situation I'm in. I can't get out from this because this is just that time of the month that I cannot win. And even if I try to be confident, I try to like win after the situation, it will just still be here, and I'm faking myself to feel relief and all that stuff. So I want to tell you about that. How to overcome your feel, how you feel cage. And there's something that I want to say before we start to go to the how to of the direction you can take is that this feeling is like one of those situations in Hollywood. If you know the Illuminati in Hollywood, this is one of those states. Like I can't get over, I can't feel in my natural state because it feels like I need something else that can fuel myself. Like I need food, I need help, I need love, I need hug, I need skin touch, and I need someone to say like I love you and all that stuff. That thing is similar to what is happening in Hollywood. Because in Hollywood there is this ritual that we already know, which is like the demon ritual, because people have joined the Illuminati and they are playing with this sense of there is a higher being that can help you achieve whatever influence, finance, whatever it is, impact you want in life. And those community actually exist because they are in that realm, in the lower dimension. And when you are in that lower dimension, you cannot overcome the situation by yourself, and because you need something to fuel whatever changes you want. And that's why like the alien race in the Illuminati is actually a being that cannot overcome this state of limited, of can't make their own fuel and all that stuff. And that's why like they are using human flesh and all that stuff to fuel their existence in some way. Sometimes it is not flesh, sometimes it's energy, sometimes it's attention, and those things can fuel their existence because they are remembered, they are connected, they are that thing, they exist in some way, in some form. And that was like this moment, like what I have. I'm feeling like I need something to overcome whatever situation I'm in. But if you have gone so far deep in your hell mode, you actually can overcome this situation without anything else. If you just focus your attention to the things that I will talk about in a second. But before we get into that, I also want to tell you about this. In the spiritual community, there is this idea of how human made. So I heard this idea from Dolores Cannon, a really big figure in the spiritual community. She is already on the other side, but what she has shared in her lifetime is something along we are here because there is multiple dimension in the world, and as a third dimensional we are in the blend of so many other creatures. Lori Ladd also shared the same view, and I think that when I was like lifting myself up from the end of the journey of my darkness, jumping to the darkness, I found Lori Ladd to speak when she spoke about how Earth is created with the 12 dimension, with this star system, with this guard, with the guardians, with this energy and all that stuff. And when I mix the two information, we got this. This world is a mix of so many other DNAs in our system. We as a human race is like a mixture of so many different races, from a lower being to higher being. Like the range is too large for something else to live as human. And that's why being human is so difficult, because we have this range of emotion, of existence, of situation, of reality, and we are the bridge. We are the balance point of everything. If we fail, everything else is failing, because we are like the last stage of the next evolution of the universe. The meaning, what I said that is that because as there are so many other beings in our blood, so many other dimensions in our blood, we are finding the balance to help some lower beings to rise higher, and some higher being to understand how they can help these lower beings. And when we, as like the freaking rat in a laboratory, are being tested, like, can you like make yourself to know an enlightenment? Can you like help yourself be aware of something? Because then as we found the key, as we feel the quantum field, we actually help other races to connect to the idea itself, because we are not just talking about it like some teacher or mentor who just like talk to their clients or their students or whatever it is. We experience it. So in the quantum field, that energy, that frequency is stored, and when something else tap into the energy, they can like literally download the idea like right there, right then. That is why we here realistically, physically experiencing so many different dualities, because we need to find that balance. We need to find the path to help other things, other races to find their way to coming back to source. So it's like you are expanding away from source and then you are coming back to source. So when we are in that zero state again, we're going to have the Big Bang and all once for more. It is one of the case. Now, why I tell you about that higher lower beings DNA in our system, because feeling cage is actually the ultimate expression of the lower being DNA. The people, the beings, the races that is working with fear is essentially lower being, because they need something else to fuel their existence, because fear is so degrading. It's so destructive. If you don't have anything positive that can influence your existence to move in growth mindset, in an expansion mindset, you are literally dying every single second. And because humans have two expression in their blood, in their reality, they have the ability to go lower, to go higher as they want to. And this is like the only, as far as I remember, people in the spiritual community, this is the only, we are the only race who can actually do this. Some other race can only do higher expression. Some other race can only do lower expression. The one that actually can do both is actually only human at this moment. And when we finish our own evolution to being a greater being than what we are, we then can birth some other creature, some other races that is in the same expression as the balanced state. So that's the idea. Now, because feeling cage, feeling in fear is the ultimate expression of the lower being DNA. If you can overcome this, you can actually go everywhere, because you understand the dynamic of compression and expansion. That thing exists for you to experience both worlds of our reality. Now, how to actually do that? Because this is like the idea is that I only remember this. The only way to actually get out from feeling caged or feeling fear, feeling small, feeling limited, is actually remember the feeling of fear itself. Because I already say it, like feeling caged is actually you can't move. You feel stuck. You feel like you are somewhat compressed by something, two walls beside you. Like you don't have any options. Limited is the same. Where feeling small is like feeling small is so many people out there is still feeling small. is what I feel. They sometimes try to word it out as I'm I'm humble, but then in their humbleness they actually feel small. That's what I sense. And humble doesn't need to come with feeling small. This is like the thing with their religion itself. Sometimes people can't believe how big they are, how powerful they are, because they are relying on the idea of there is a higher being that protected me. There is God that is actually not me, and there is other things, and also and my existence is too small for in comparison to theirs. So I don't matter. And I'm like, that's not what that is. And humble is good to know when you are feeling over yourself, feeling over the top. And I need to actually learn humbleness when I was younger. And I did learn it in my journey of 20 years. So I don't necessarily need ever, I actually never feel small. And I did learn how to feel humble at most of the case of my life. But yeah, that's like it feels different when I say like how do you feel fear? But this feeling is actually contain a little bit of expression of fear, even though like it doesn't like extremely say I am in fear, because it was illusion wise, it was mimic wise, it was sprinkle wise in a few fear based belief. And if you know how to feel fear, you know that that's not your natural state. And if that's not your natural state, you can literally just like, I wonder like why I'm feeling like this. Because if you already like step into that idea of like this is not me, you're already out of the idea of feeling caged in itself. You don't need to do anything else. This is one of the Bashar's teaching is that you don't need to do anything when you already know why. Because if you already know why, you know that this is not you. Who you are is not here to feel only the lower things. You are here as a dual compass of higher and lower. If you feel lower, you also feel higher. You start to minimize the friction between the two, and you literally in the neutral state because you are dominating the idea of feeling in the lower state of being, which is your fear, which is how you feel that you are caged at this moment. You actually also can feel the freedom of it, which is when you see a compass, you know that the needle is not just moving, it's not just pointing at one direction, it's also pointing in the lower direction. So there are 2 points of their sign. So that's like all that is also like where we as a human experience duality. You feel fear, you also feel freedom. You feel cage, you also feel freedom. And the idea of freedom is that it is there is no separation. There is no need for you to do anything to get it because you always free. And the idea of feeling cage is how you are in the illusion of fear because it's not true. Because it's also like you are also feeling the freedom of it. So that's my way to overcome the feeling fear. It's so quick, and the entry to actually get here is so long because there is other information that sometimes makes sense, and this is how I make sense my own experience as a human. Is that at some point, yep, we are dominating the idea of I'm feeling caged. That's okay. You are currently cannot bypass. You cannot go for the better things. You can't feel the other things. It's okay. You just know that there is a possibility of you feeling not this. And I know that. So I am working on, not really working, I'm just like letting the feeling to stay here because I can't move it. Because this is literally like my my physical body is not in optimal health. I'm also near my period and all that stuff. I'm also like have so many things, so many other things to do. So the feeling caged, feeling stuck, feeling like what do you call it? Like I know the word. Feeling apathy because right now I'm like literally I don't feel great, but I also don't feel I don't feel bad, but I also don't feel great. So like there is a middle point, but the middle point is twisted enough for me to feel apathy instead of balance. That is the thing that I'm feeling right now, and I don't put judgment on like this is bad. I need to get over this. I need to solve this problem. I'm just like, oh, this is one of the situation because we know why, but also even if we know how to solve the situation, how to get into the next level, it's not like we need to do that. It's just one of the experience. So I already arrive in this neutral, balanced, mm, non-judgmental understanding about my situation. Now, this is a lot harder than just knowing, oh, I am feeling fear. Now, if you're still in the beginning stage of this journey, knowing what you are dominantly feel is enough. And if you go deeper into this journey of just like I'm just being present with my whatever I have, you essentially let your natural state to arrive. Just like how I told you the last couple of stream where uh what did I told you? If you just let go of the feeling of the discomfort, you essentially will rise to your natural state because the middle point because the lower point of your flow is pulling you down, but when you release the weight you're actually rising in the middle state, and that's like where I'm at. I don't need to do anything. I already understand where I am, what I am, and where I'm at. So this experience is acceptable as I'm feeling happy. So there is no judgment on it. So yeah, I actually write a really messy draft right here, but I also have shared as deep as it needed. So yeah, I hope this has helped you in your journey to stop feeling caged, to end your cagedness. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.